A tribal chief betrayed by his own blood, a Samoan Spike driven straight into his chest, and one silent giant standing in the corner, refusing to move while Roman Reigns was destroyed. If you think you already know how bad things got for Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw, you have no idea how deep this betrayal actually goes. Welcome back to the channel that digs deeper into every twist, betrayal, and shocking developments surrounding WWE's biggest storylines. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the Bloodline Civil War may have just officially begun. For years, the Bloodline represented one simple idea. Family comes first, and the tribal chief's authority is absolute. Roman Reigns built an empire around that philosophy. But on the August 17th episode of Raw, that empire suffered one of its biggest blows yet. Roman believed he was finally going to force Solo Sikoa back into line. After Solo's recent defiance, Roman wanted him to prove his loyalty once again. But instead of welcoming Solo back, Roman humiliated him. He mocked him, took his sunglasses, crushed them, and demanded that Solo prove where his loyalty really belonged. Then LA Knight arrived. Knight had developed an unlikely alliance with Solo, and he wasn't willing to watch Roman humiliate him. Roman immediately saw an opportunity. He ordered the Usos to restrain Knight and then turned toward Solo. Roman gave Solo one final command: hit LA Knight with the Samoan Spike. Solo raised his thumb. He looked at Knight. He appeared ready to obey, but then everything changed. Solo turned around and drove the Samoan Spike directly into Roman Reigns. The Buffalo crowd exploded. Roman hit the mat. The Usos were stunned, and then LA Knight joined Solo in attacking the Bloodline. Roman desperately tried to fight back, but Knight eventually caught him and delivered the BFT. Roman Reigns was down. His family had turned against him. But there was one more detail that may prove even more important than Solo's betrayal. Jacob Fatu did nothing. The Samoan Werewolf stood in the corner and watched. Earlier in the night, Roman had ordered Jacob to attack Solo, and Jacob obeyed. Later, Roman ordered him to stand down. Again, Jacob obeyed. But when Roman was finally being destroyed by Solo and LA Knight, Jacob didn't move. He didn't attack Solo. He didn't attack Knight. He didn't save Roman. He simply watched, and that silence may have spoken louder than any betrayal. Because Jacob Fatu has been positioned as one of Roman's most dangerous weapons. Yet when Roman needed that weapon the most, it stayed completely silent. And now, according to reports surrounding the backstage atmosphere after Raw, Roman Reigns is furious. But his anger isn't reportedly directed only at Solo Sikoa. Roman is also said to be deeply frustrated with Jacob Fatu. Think about what happened throughout the night. Roman used Jacob whenever he needed muscle. Attack Solo. Stop. Attack again. Stop again. At the same time, Roman elevated Jimmy and Jey Uso by giving them black Ulafala necklaces and calling them his made men and captains. Jacob watched all of it. He watched Roman reward the Usos. He watched Roman treat him like a weapon. And when Roman finally needed him, Jacob remained in the corner. That creates one enormous question. Was Jacob simply following Roman's last direct order to stay out of the situation? Or did Jacob consciously decide that Roman no longer deserved his protection? That distinction could completely change the future of the Bloodline. Because if Jacob's silence was intentional, Roman doesn't just have a Solo problem anymore. He has a Jacob Fatu problem, and that could be far more dangerous. Solo Sikoa has already made his position clear. He betrayed Roman. He stood beside LA Knight, and now he appears determined to build something of his own, rather than return to Roman's control. But Roman Reigns isn't going to simply accept that. The tribal chief has survived betrayal before. He survived the Usos turning against him. He survived Solo's rebellion. He survived challengers from outside the family. But this situation feels different because the threat is coming from multiple directions at once. Solo Sikoa is gone. LA Knight is standing beside him. Jacob Fatu is becoming increasingly unpredictable, and Roman's own empire suddenly looks unstable. That is why the Bloodline Civil War could become one of the biggest stories in WWE. And don't forget about Jimmy and Jey Uso. They were just elevated to Roman's inner circle. They were supposed to represent stability. Instead, their promotion happened just before everything collapsed. Now, they're standing inside an empire where loyalty is being questioned from every direction. Roman Reigns spent years convincing everyone that he controlled the bloodline. But there's a difference between obedience and loyalty. You can demand obedience. You can threaten people into following orders. But you can't force someone to genuinely believe in you. And that's exactly what Roman may be discovering right now. So what happens next? Roman could confront Jacob Fatu directly. He could demand an explanation for why the Samoan Werewolf refused to help him. And if Jacob refuses to fall back in line, we could finally see the confrontation that WWE fans have been waiting for. Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Tribal Chief versus Samoan Werewolf. Family versus family. And if Solo Sikoa and LA Knight become involved, this could quickly become a three-man resistance against Roman's bloodline. But there's another possibility. Jacob may not join Solo at all. Maybe he's simply done being controlled. Maybe his silence wasn't about choosing Solo. Maybe it was about choosing himself. And honestly, that might be the most dangerous possibility of them all. Because a Jacob Fatu who answers to Roman is dangerous. A Jacob Fatu who answers to Solo is dangerous. But a Jacob Fatu who answers to nobody, that's a completely different problem. So here's where we stand. Solo Sikoa has declared war. LA Knight is standing beside him. Roman Reigns is reportedly furious and preparing his response. And Jacob Fatu remains the biggest wildcard in the entire Bloodline story. One night in Buffalo may have changed everything. The Bloodline isn't simply cracking anymore. It's breaking into pieces. And when those pieces finally collide, WWE could be heading toward the biggest family war this generation has ever seen. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Jacob Fatu will eventually join Solo Sikoa and LA Knight against Roman Reigns? Or was Jacob simply following Roman's orders and refusing to interfere? Drop your prediction in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Wrestling Juice, and turn on notifications because this Bloodline Civil War is only getting started. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.